the things that I talked about, all the things that we do, the things that matter, they happen because we're a team. And it started out because I sucked a bunch of my girlfriends in and drug them into my kitchen and said, listen, we need to do something because we have a lot of amazing people that need stuff. And thriving doesn't come at it's not cheap, because sometimes you have to do stuff to get there. If you're happy and you love who you are, but you would prefer to have your jeans fit a little bit looser, we might have to do our workout program. And Diane, how do you like VMS now?
I'm not liking the mountain climber. No, I love VMS. I tell Vaughn we have this love-hate relationship. My husband is like, I can't tell if you like this guy or do you not like this guy. It's changed my life. It's one of the many things that you've introduced me to through the foundation that's changed my life.
She's a survivor and thriver. Correct?
Right.
Were you a thriver before?
Before you introduced me to
all this stuff?
No, absolutely not. I was just a survivor, and I had gone into Beth's office at one of my visits, and as probably many of you, Beth's talk resonated with me as she walked through some of the stages and things like that. But I went into her office and I was done most of my stuff that needed to be done, and I said, I'm still not right. And Beth said I needed to find my reset button, and she made sure that I got these vouchers, which I didn't use for a long time because I really wasn't sure what Reiki was or how that was even going to help me. It sounded like hocus pocus kind of stuff to me, but I am a believer. I used my vouchers for the Reiki, which helped me to quit my crazy job that I was commuting to in New York and going to 3 different cities.
The energy vampire job?
Yeah, right. It was the gift of cancer to me, was to choose to spend more time with my family. At the time, my daughter was 2. And I was missing a lot of stuff, so that was one of the changes. And, there's been other changes. I mean, Beth got me to go to Lawn. I mean, I was in her office again at an appointment complaining, like, this weight, what the heck is wrong with me? And she said, meet me at the gym tomorrow. And so I started to go to Lawn. And then through, she kind of was a little manipulative and got me to go to cooking class because I don't cook, my husband cooks. And she said, well, you have to evaluate the cooking class for the foundation. So she got me to go that way. And all these things have been incorporated into my life, and I've really benefited from tremendously. And the reason, I was Beth's patient before I was ever on the board. The reason I joined the board was because I wanted to pay it forward, because I felt like we just do, the board does so many wonderful things, and it's all volunteer. Everybody, they volunteer their time and their skills that they have, and all the money that comes in is just raised. It's through grants and us raising money. So I'm asking you, if there's anyone out there that thinks, that well, first of all, like Beth said, if you haven't used vouchers, please take advantage of that. And secondly, if you have used them and you want to pay it forward, there's a lot of work to be done. You
can volunteer. And one of the reasons why everybody's here tonight, Wendy's the chairman of the foundation board right now, and through this year we've done a tremendous amount of reorganization. My sister, having a respite from her job, has created, she's a whip cracker, like she sends us stuff, and she's like the taskmaster, and she would be here tonight, but it's her anniversary. It's 32 years, thank God, or she'd have a list and she'd be over here like signing us all up. But what we're doing now is we've reorganized to a place where we have committees for fundraising and for events and for thrivers and for services, and we're doing our event in September. I'm not going to call it a fashion event, because really what we're going to do is educate people and showcase what we do and how we do it. And so what we need, first of all, if anybody can type really well, secretary. Michelle Davis was volunteered sort of as a possible. Yes, I have to talk more with Diane. Okay. We're recruiting, and we're like, you see this big cane come out there. And one of the, Annie and Erica are legs on the ground who you guys probably run into an awful lot through emails and through, Erica's been sending out the constant contacts, and she's our Facebook. All those fabulous quotes on Facebook is her. And Annie just organizes it all together and pulls the glue together and sends out all the nice letters when people make donations and stuff like that. And Amy she's really fabulous because her husband married well. Amy Scarlett is phenomenal and wonderful, and she has a background in marketing, and she's a great mom, and she's a fabulous asset, and she happens to be married to Bill Scarlett. That's, you know, that's her only bad vice that she has. And Amy is in charge of, she's working on the Thrivers programs, which are like this, and the Thrivers Weekend. And so what we're trying to do now is take the survivorship and really kind of help catapult you guys into thrivership, and not just let you survive the cancer. And that's what all these services do. Heidi is also on the board. She is our director of the oncology services here at the hospital, and she's just wonderful. She's my right arm and my left arm, and sometimes my right leg, and sometimes my ball and chain. It depends what's due. But we're all working together to try to make this better for you guys. And so we now have an event coming up in like one of the last 2 weeks in September, and our event kickoff meeting is next Tuesday, January 10th, when my son's 21. We're going to be kicking this off at Tom Calkins' house, and if there are any of you that are interested in potentially being on some of the subcommittees, whether it's what do we have? Decorations, fundraising, food and beverage, the event coordination, of invitations and stuff like that. We're looking for a few good women and men, and we'll take volunteers, because that's what makes these events great, is when we get people involved. And previously we haven't come to the support group for this only because I felt like we would be imposing. But I know that there are a lot of you that want to get involved, that want to give back, that want to do things. So we're going to take some names. You guys have any questions? Do you love my team? You want to say something, Madam President? Madam President? Madam President?
I've been on the board now for how long? It's been...
Oh my gosh, 2007, so
yeah, it's
almost 5 years.
2000, yeah, almost 5 years. And I am not a survivor nor a thriver.
Yeah, you're a thriver. You thrive.
Well, I do thrive, but I'm not
Okay.
a breast cancer survivor. I feel very honored when I'm invited to these things, because somehow I don't feel like I fit in. But what brings me the greatest joy is when I've done 2 of the events. And as it takes a year to put on an event, so that was 2 years of working. And what has brought me the greatest joy is when I go to those events, because I forget what I'm doing it for. And I've worked with many of these people. Remember Tiffany? I don't know if you know Tiffany.
Tiffany's got like 8 feet long legs. She was the model on one of the shows. She's also on the board.
Tiffany calls me up right before the event, and she's crying on the phone, and this is just not, we're days away. I'm like, Tiffany, I know where you're coming from. It's very, very, events are difficult. They're a lot of fun. You meet so many wonderful people. They're a lot of fun, but they're also stressful because you want it to be the best it can be. And she calls me and she's crying, and I can't do this anymore. I'm like, Tiffany, it's like you're pregnant, and you're right at the end of your pregnancy, and you're going into labor right now. But I promise you're going to be holding this beautiful child at the end. And it is, because when it finally comes to fruition and the event goes off, and I would watch women come down the runway, wow, this is what it was all for. And you see the joy and the transformation is amazing. And that's why I've stayed in this, and that's why I do this, and that's why I love her, and I'm glad she's brought me into this.
My buddy.
Because it's brought such joy to my life. It really has. Thank you.
You want to say anything, Amy Scarlett? Anybody else? Erica. Oh, you're supposed to thank Cecil because now he's here.
Yeah. I don't know if you know, she made such a smooth transition into lack thereof, thanking her for her talk tonight. So thanking Beth for sharing her bits of wisdom with all of you. And we do have a visitor. Cecil is here. Once again, thank him for providing the snacks and making this such a family atmosphere for you guys. So he's in the back.
For those of you that don't know, Oncotype is that little test that we order sometimes that tells us yes or no for chemo. And Cecil likes this because we order it very appropriately on everybody, as opposed to some places that don't know it exists. So that's why Cecil likes us. So when Erica called up and said, Dr. DuPree needs money for food for some women, he's like, what do you need? What do you need? When do you need it? So thank you, Cecil, very much. All right. Anybody interested in joining the effort with us? We will be happy to take names and email addresses. So thank you all. I love you.